Hello and welcome to the mini ink storage. So for this video we're going to concentrate on building this unit with 7 drawers, if I lift that up like that, so that you can house your mini distress inks. So in each drawer it will hold 10 inks, and I've done it with a space so that you can easily slide them across and get out which one that you want. So if I just empty them out and we take a look at the drawer, you can see that the front is bigger than the back, and this was all done for a reason which will become more apparent as we start to build it. I've also got this little channel down the middle to hold the inks in place because I thought it secured it more. We've got a little pulley tab which you can't see where it's attached because it's hidden under a panel, but nice and solid I thought, and it just housed the inks perfectly. Now, other than distress inks, they will also hold the little mini archival inks, or there's little VersaFine pads actually that are this size, and also little iZink ones. There are iZink minis. They'll all fit in here. So yeah, another thing that I want to point out is on this side you've got this edge that sits proud. Again, that's done for a reason, because I wanted the drawers to sit inside of the edge of here so that you didn't get, let me pull this out, if this finished here and you'd got something heavy on it, you'd get a saggy bit, and I didn't want that. I wanted it all to be a solid, nice piece of storage. So that's kind of how I went about it. I've got the same sort of frame as what we've had on the other one, and I've actually kept this to the same size because that way if you're stacking them on your desk, it's all going to sit neat and tidy. So where do we start from here? Let's move this to one side. You're going to need some A4 cardstock. You're also going to need a scoreboard. I'll probably use my big one on this one. You're going to need a trimmer or a guillotine, or both. I tend to go across and use both. And what I do recommend, well, I'm hoping it's in there, but I'm going to put a list of measurements under the featured section so that you can access them and print them off once I've worked out how to do it. So let's start off. Now what I do, I'm going to make my storage in white this time because I've made it in black. I make the wraps and the drawers first. So can you see there's like a ½ centimetre difference where that drawer pushes right in? So we're going to sit down and we're going to make these all first before we build the outside. So we'll start off and we'll cut, and we're going to make the wraps. So this is the slidey bit that the drawers are going to go into. So for that, and I'm going to apologise now, but the measurements, they're in centimetres, but I have got a couple of measurements in inches as well, and that is purely to make it all work. Just look at them as numbers and it will be fine. So to cut the wrap, I'm going to take an A4 sheet of card, and I've got the short edge at the top, and I'm going to cut 17½ centimetres. Now with all of this storage, I say be as precise as you can when you're cutting. That way when you come to fit it all together, it should work perfectly. So we're going to rotate that around. Now this is where I'm going to confuse you, because I want you to cut 9½ inches on this one. Okay, so I'll just say that again. We've got 17½ centimetres that way. We rotated around and we've cut 9½ inches that way. Now you will need to cut 7 of those. I'm just going to cut 1 because I have gone ahead and built the rest. So 7 of those, and in fact I'll do it one by one so it doesn't confuse. So then you're going to bring in a scoreboard, on the centimetre side, I got all of my, there it is, it was hiding. So you're going to place this on your scoreboard. I'm going to do it on my big one so I don't need to slide it across. Here we go. So the short edge across the top. Let's see if we can get this a bit closer so you can see a bit better. There we go. So the first score line we're going to do is at 7.5 centimetres all the way down. And then we're going to go to 10 centimetres. So we've got this even channel in the middle, which is, it's 2.5 centimetres. Let me do this in pencil so that you can see it. And now I'm frantically looking around for a pencil. Here we go. So 7.5 and 10. That's what we've got first. Then we're going to rotate this around and we're going to do 2.5 from each end. Like so. Okay. Then with your scissors, oh, I shouldn't have tied it up so much. Just going to bring that up a little bit now so you can see. There we go. We're going to cut up this line to the point and take out a segment, and the same on this side. And we're going to rotate that around and we're going to do the same. You'll soon know if you haven't cut it in the right place. When you put it together, if you've got a bulk, you'll need to make sure that you trim it really precise. So from there, we're going to turn that over and fold all of those lines. So the pencil marks, you can't see them, they're on the other side. So the side that you scored on is against the table. So from there, we're going to take some glue and we're going to pop it here and here on the top and the bottom. And then when we bring this in, fold that one down, so that's going to come in first, take the tab over, and then take this one over. So then turn it around on its side, get it all lined up, and you might need to just put your finger and thumb and slide it, because this is where it needs to be perfect. If you could see me now, I'm standing up, hovering over the counter. Put your finger inside there and just rub that down nice and tight. And then to the other side, put the plain one in first, then the tab, and then this one. Bring it around, make sure it's all flush at this end here, and give that a press as well. Turn it over, pop your finger in. And then when we stick these together, this end is the open end where the tabs, the sides have come in. So that's the bottom. And this one with the flush edges on, that's going to be the top. So that is our wrap, our drawer holder done. And we need 7 of those. So let's just put the lid in our glue while we move on to the next piece. So to make the drawer, I would take another piece of A4 and my guillotine, and this time I'm going to cut 11 centimetres, so thin edge at the top. I'm going to pop that in 11 centimetres by 23. So again, I'm just making sure that I've got that spot on. And then on my scoreboard, this is nice and simple as well. We're just going to place it in there and we're going to score 2 centimetres on all 4 sides. So just keep rotating it around as if you're making a box lid or whatever. So we've got that cross. And then we're just going to cut these lines again. So you're going to go up the line in a segment from the corner piece. Make sure you get that right into that point. Okay. So the 4 corners. Move that to the side. And again, we're going to turn that over and fold those lines all in. And then once they're folded in, I like to turn it over and pop my glue on all 4 corners. And then we're going to bring these in. Now when we bring these tabs in, we need to make sure that this piece here is flush with here. So bring it around, get it flush, give it a squeeze. If you've got them little mini pegs and it helps you, then peg it while you do it. But just make sure that it's nice and flush. So give that a squeeze. I've just noticed my thumbnail. Just ignore it. It's from the pricing gun at work. The ink roller ran out and I had to try and mend it so that I could use it, and it went all over me. Couldn't get it out. So just take your way around all 4 sides, getting that nice and flush. And the last one. Okay, so that gives us the base of our little drawer. Now I want to put inside here the little divider. So that's what we're going to cut next. And we're going to cut that from the piece that came off of our piece of A4. So this is going to go in skinny, the short edge at the top. And we are going to cut 9 centimetres. Now, on this one, I'm going to go just under 9. So if I did it dead on 9, it would be really tight to get in my drawer. So I'm just going to come under. So I'm going down to this measurement here. 9 is there, and I'm just literally underneath there. Let's see if you can. There you go. And then by 19, and again, I'm just literally coming just under 19, just so it sits flush inside my box. Let's bring my little board in for this one. So on this one, we are going to score at 3.5, 4.5, and 5.5 centimetres. And then we're going to flip it over and we're just going to fold all 3 of those lines in the same direction. So I'm going to fold it in half at the halfway, the middle line. And I'm going to put some glue. Now you can use glue or you can use red liner tape. It's entirely up to you, but I'm just going to whiz down here with some glue. So I'm just going to fold it in half. I'm going to get that glue to grab first. And once I know that that's grabbed, I can flip this one up and then turn over this side and flip that one up. And that gives me my little divider. So if I turn that over, and we're just going to pop that inside there. Can you see how it just fits, because we've just taken off that tiny little extra piece. So just go around Give it a rub, make sure it's stuck all the way down. Now, the next piece, I need to reinforce this front piece, and we're going to make it a little bit taller. So I'm going to just take a piece of card, and we're going to cut this one at 5 centimetres by 19 centimetres. Now you can, again, you can come just a tad, and we're talking minuscule little bit, a tad under 19, and then just check and make sure it sits just inside. Yeah, it wasn't quite, it's just a squidging. There you go. So this is 5 centimetres by 19 centimetres, but just underneath. And we're going to score this at 2.5 centimetres all the way down, like so. And while we're here, I'm going to take one of the scraps that I've got, and I'm going to cut 3 centimetres by 3 centimetres. And I'm going to cut another strip, and this is where I like to use my trimmer and not the guillotine, because it's such a small strip I can't really get into where I need to be. This one needs to be 2 centimetres by 18.5. Okay, so I've got my 3 little elements that I need to finish the drawer. So with my, while I've got my scoreboard here, just check that that's, yeah, 3 by 3. So we're going to score that at 1.5 centimetres. Now this is going to be the pulley tab. And on my first one, you might have a circle punch, or this is the smallest die from Julie's circle die set, the original one, not the Dinkies, the original one. That's the smallest one, and I die cut those, and I thought, oh, that looks really nice. But then I thought, well, some people, they might not have a die cutting machine, or you might not have room on your desk because you've got all of your stuff everywhere. I thought I'd just make one from a square, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop it in and just trim these little, just round them off, just to give a different look. Okay, so now I've got, oh, I didn't get that in properly. There you go. So just round them corners off there. So that's going to be our little pulley. So just to finish off putting this drawer together, I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to glue both sides here. And then I'm just going to pop it so this piece goes on the inside and this piece goes on the front. So slop it on the front, slop it, pop it, give it a tap, make sure it's nice and straight all the way along, and then just keep running your finger left to right, just so that that glue bonds all the way across. And when you think it's stuck, turn it on its side and give it another rub. We're wanting it to be nice and solid. So at this point, yeah, that's perfect. Now you'll need your scoreboard for this piece. So I've got that there, and I've got my little tab like so, and I'm just going to add glue to the square end, and I'm going to lay it on here at 8 centimetres. So it's 8 to 11 because it's 3 centimetres. And by doing that, I'm going to turn this around. So this is my front, butt it across there, slide it up till it touches. I now know that that is in the centre of that drawer. that squeak is me getting up and down off my chair. So then once it's on there, just make sure that it's not overhanging the bottom. Give it a squeeze, and that's in place. And now we want to hide that tab. That's what this strip's for. So this was cut 2 centimetres by 18.5, and we're going to just pop that on the front like so. So a bit of glue, turn it on its end, and just centralise. And again, just rub it until that glue bonds. And now we've got quite a nice solid drawer. So we get our wrap. These are the open ends, so that's the bottom. Push it in and then push it back. Now we've got that 1/2 centimetre recess, but it holds its shape. So if you can imagine, I'm just going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We want one more, 7. I have gone along and I have done 7 of those, and that's exactly what you need to do. It's always good, I'd say, make these first, stack them up before you make the outer, especially if you're going to use a different thickness of card. You might need to tweak your frame, but this is all sized and done on, well, I did all the measurements off the black card, which is it's a 290, and this is a 300, so I'm hoping, well, I know this will work perfect. If I'd have picked up a 350 GSM, I think I would have had problems. Okay, so let's just stick my glue thing in. So I know that they're all up the right way because I've got all my pulleys that way. I'm just going to move these boards out of the way. I'm trying to be a little bit tidy as I go along. Scoot that out of the way. Okay, so our next step would be to glue these all together. And I think for this, I am going to opt for my Collall because it's going to give me time to maneuver. Oh, I didn't shut it last time when it come out. Of course it wouldn't. It's going to be, hang on. Oh, I do love a nice bit of sticky glue. Right. So take them off. I'm going to start from the bottom. Hopefully you can see that. I'm going to pop the glue on. And put the next one on. Now, because I've got that bit that's inside, when I press down, I'm not getting that saggy middle, which is exactly what I wanted. Well, exactly what I didn't want. So then just build your tower up. Concentrating now, look. It's very scientific. There we go. And the last one. Now, when you've stuck these together and you turn it to the side, you will notice that the back is smaller than the front, and that is purely because we've got those drawers going right back in there. So it just tapers in slightly, and that is absolutely fine. So if you make yours and you see that and you think, oh, I've done something wrong, you haven't. So we're just, because we've used that Collall, we can just keep manipulating this until we know that it's nice and straight. So I'm happy with that. I'm just going to pop that to the side while we have a little look at the frame. So for the frame, you will need 4 sheets of A4 and for the uprights, our uprights are going to be 19. I'm going to stand up because I'm going to actually cut both of these together. Because it's a guillotine, it will take it. So we've got 19 by 23.5 centimetres. Okay, and try and keep them so that you don't mess them up, because there's actually only 0.5 centimetre-ish difference between the two measurements. So these are my uprights, and I'm going to put a U on there to remind me. So then I'm going to get 2 more pieces, and these are going to be like the width. So these are going to be 19 and now you're going to watch out here for the measurement, by 9.5 inches. So that is 19 centimetres by 9.5 inches, and these are the width. So then they're both going to get scored exactly the same, but it's just important for everything to work. So we'll start off with them uprights, and we are going to score at get in place so that you can see. We're going to go at 1 centimetre. Shall I do it so that you can see? I don't want you to see. Oh no, I don't want to see this because it will be visible. So it's 1 centimetre, 8, 10, 17. We're going to turn. We're going to do 1, and we're going to go 3 to the second line. And the other one, exactly the same. 1, 8, 10, 17, 1 and 3 to the second line. So they're the 2 uprights, and the 2 widths exactly the same. 1, 8, 10, 17, 1 and 3 to the second line. I didn't say that out loud, did I? Okay, for cutting. I've got this 1 centimetre piece on the left. I suppose if you're right-handed, you might want to cut this differently. But this big part in the middle is your tab, exactly the same as we did on the distress oxide storage. That gives us our tab. Bend that back out the way. Chop that excess off. Diagonal line to the bottom of that score line, and then we can cut that whole piece away. I'm just going to change to a bigger pair of scissors. There we go. That's one piece done. So we're just going to go through and do that on all. I'll cut one more because I have got this prepped. Okay, so you do that on all 4 pieces. Now, once you've done that, you grab some tape. Just going to do that so that you can see. This one is a 9mm, So I know that it will just fit on here because we scored it at 1 centimetre. And we're going to put the tape along there, and then we're going to cut a piece for the tab. And you're going to do that on both of those pieces and both of those pieces. I'm going to just pop them to one side, and I'm going to bring in the ones that I have taped up. So I've got across, and up. So now we can put those together. So first of all, we take off the red liner tape, we turn it over, we fold it in on the second line and keep it nice and flat, and then I'm just checking because I've sat down now. Look. Nice and flat, and bring this up, and it naturally finds where it wants to grab. Push it back the other way, that's perfect. Same on this one. Get your tweezers, Hazel. Turn it over. So on that second line, right, they're me up ones, and then these are me widthy ones. I'm still trying to do it without tweezers. Second line down. Across ones. So now I'll take the, make sure you've folded them tabs, and take the backings off of them. That's the up. And the last one. Okay, so I'm going to take one from my up pile, one from my across pile, butt them up, and push that down. Move it along. Add that one in. Move it along. Add the last one on. Okay, and then to stick it together, up on its end, and you're going to put glue on this square here. So there'll be 4, my hand got stuck. There'll be 4 of those. And then you're putting it on this section here, and it's quite important that you do that and bring it out enough, because it's this piece that holds that frame together once you've got that middle bit in. If we put too much glue on, we can always wipe it off, but it will be fine. So then, starting at this end, look, I'm just going to make sure this is inside and tuck that and bring that around. That's where I mean, just give it a little wipe there. Bring the next one, same. That one. And then on the last one, you're going to do that, but you need to make sure that that little tab is tucked in. Okay, now I haven't got my glass mat under here, have I? Let's get it. Ooh. It's important to have your glass mat in because you want to check. Put it on and check that it's straight, because we don't want no wonky. Perfect. Okay. Wonderful. Okay. This is where we find out. Be that way. Yeah. Okay, so this will be, we don't want it just to drop in. It's got to be, I'm going to bring it up so that you can see the hole. It's got to be tight. And this is where you need to make sure that your corners were stuck, because mine weren't. So hopefully I'm just going to shove that in, and then I'm going to look at my corners, which is there. Just give that a press and that a press. Right, that gives me my perfect drawers. Now this sits out proud. Now what you might need to do is add a little bit more glue in on your corners, because I don't think that's quite grabbed. And if it means you've got to sit there until the glue grabs, then so be it. This is going to stand in your craft room for many, many years, being used and abused. So attention to detail on them corners is important. That's it. Okay. That's the way it opens. Okay, so now we need to have a look. We've got that in, and you'll see, look, we've got a little bit of, because the back is smaller, remember, a little bit of movement there. So we need to cut a piece and get this stuck on here. Before I do that, I'm going to get some red liner tape and pop it down. Just going to go around the edges. You'll notice as I'm pressing on this, this is coming up proud. Well, that's because it's deeper than the width of the frame. It's just while I'm doing this. I could have put this on before I popped it in the middle, if I'm honest, but hey ho. Okay, now if I remember rightly, I think it's, well, it's not going to be square, is it? It is going to be, yeah, I'm going to do that. That's just short, yeah, 23.5 by 22.5. So I'm going to need to get an A3 sheet for this, or you could get it from a 12 by 12. So 22.5. 23.5. And then just check it. And in fact, you know what? That 23.5, I'm just going to come a little bit under, because it wasn't quite at the measurement. And let's just see which way round it goes on. Not that way. Yeah, okay. Take that off. So I'm just going to whiz the back of this tape off, and then I'm going to add lots of glue over the back of the drawers, because that's what's going to keep the drawers in place. Come on. I can't even blooming see it. Needless to say, I haven't actually got my glasses on. The next, Oh yeah, they are. They're over there. I'll grab them. Okay, I'm just going to stand up and make sure I'm in picture. So, get my collar and put all of when I put the piece on, I'm going to stand it up because obviously I can't do it like this because it's all uneven. So just make sure you put plenty down. Okay. All right, that's upside down. And also make sure you've got it the right way up. Okay, so get that in place. And then turn it around. And we want to just stick that, if you angle it on the top, and then push it flat. Just moving that glue all around. Right, that is nice and solid. Now I did not notice one of my corners. It's this one. I'm just going to hold this for a second. Perfect. Okay, so that gives us, and I'm going to do it to the side, we've got all of our little drawers that open out. Now they don't, you don't want to kind of leave them hanging. You'll pull them straight out, because the idea is that they're portable too. I mean, you can pull it down and you can have it on your desk, and then you can pop it back in away when you're ready. So that is the main base unit, and now we need to decorate it. Now we have got lots of choices, and I do want to tell you and show you how I created this kind of background, okay? So if I pop that one there, let's get a little bit of room. We can put our glue away. And show you some. So first thing I do is I measure this, and I'll go, right, I'm going to have a panel for the top. So this measures, that measures 23, so I'll take off 0.5 centimetre. So I want to cut my card 22.5 by, it measures 7, so 6.5. So I'd get a bit of card, and I'd cut 6.5 down this way, because I know I can't get it the other way. And then we're going this way, and what did I say? Can't really remember now. Did I say 22? Or I'm going to cut 22.5 because I can't remember. Well, that was lucky. It is 22.5. Okay, so 6.5 by 22.5, and you'll need one of them. And then for the side, this is going to be a slightly different measurement. This one's going to be 22. So it'll be 6.5 by 22. Now you might have the most beautiful pattern paper pad, and then that will fit on there, look. You'd need 2 of those. You might have a beautiful pattern paper pad at home that you want to chop into a 12 by 12. And the reason I say 12 by 12 is because if you want to do a frame around there, you'd need 12 by 12 papers. I've done, you could use like your A4, but you wouldn't be able to put a frame around there. You might want to drag your pad over, but you'd have to do that before you put this centerpiece in, because this is higher now. Or you could get away with just putting strips 2 strips that way and then 2 strips down that way. It all depends. So let's get some inky fun on the go. But actually an important bit, for these drawer fronts, I need to cut a piece of card 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 by 18.5. 14. And I can now ink and stamp this up all in one go, and then it can get chopped into strips to go on the front there. So where did we have 3 bits? Are they them? I'm just going to double check. Maybe it was that bit. If in doubt, that was a 22. That's a 22.5. And that one just isn't anything. So I'll cut it to 22. I mustn't have cut it. So we've got them 3 bits there. Now the colours that I chose, going into my little minis, I chose Fossilized Amber, Peacock Feathers, and I think it's this one, Rusty Hinge. And then just going into my little storage one, I've got my little tools here, so I'm going to get those out. And then sponges. I've got some spare ones in there. In fact, that's what I must have used. Or did I keep them on there? No, I didn't. Right, let's see. That must have been one. Because you want to keep them different to your... I'm just going to choose 3 new ones, look. How's that? Then we won't get confused. There we go. Right, let's put this down a bit so that you can see a better view. So first job. I'm a little bit worried that this is going to run out of charge. Let me see if I can get this over and plug it in. Just 1 second. Oh, that just slightly moved. There we go. Right then. So just pop your pads on. Oh, do you know why I'm looking for my pads? They're under here. Right, so put your pads on. Right. So I'm going to start off with my Fossilized Amber, and I'm just going to just get some ink on there. And I'm not too precious about if I get little bits on there, or it really doesn't bother me because I'm going to spritz it with water anyway. And I'm going to be stamping all over it. So this one's the Rusty Hinge. And then some Peacock Feathers. And then just keep going over, and you just want to fill in the whole bit of card. If you're not getting enough ink off, pop it on your mat and just add it in like so. Is that in shot enough? Yeah. I mean, it looks a bit of a car crash, doesn't it? But honestly, when it's finished, you'll be like, woo! You'll enjoy it. And it does, I don't think I've got super smooth here. This must be a different card. I have so many different bits of card in my stash. And just ink that all over. I mean, you don't have to do it with Distress inks. If you wanted to do it with oxides, of course you could. I just thought it would be kind of fitting to use the Distress inks, seeing as it's a storage for Distress inks. And let's have some of the yellow. And then finally, obviously you're going to take a lot more time than I am doing this. I think it took me all evening to sit and do that decoration on there, on my units. Okay, so again, it doesn't look brilliant, does it? But I'm going to get your spray, and you want to spray some blobs of water, big ones, little ones. And we're going to mop that off. Door. Like so. And that gives us that detail coming through. And we'll also want a little bit of black. Okay, so for stamps, what I've done, and here was me thinking I was being organised. No. Got a few blocks, and I'm using, I've got this big folder, you can see it coming into shot now. So I'm going to go between the more for the girls and more for the boys. You can see both of them now. Sorry, just trying to get the room. And then I'll probably flick over and use some from All About the Boys and All About the Girls as well. So I've got quite a lot of different bits going on. So I'll just keep flicking through and just show you how useful and versatile they are, and that they all come together. So I'm going to take the large fern from the More from the Girls, and I'm going to ink that one up with Rusty Hinge. And I'm just going to come in and start stamping some leaves on to start with. Maybe one up here. And don't be too precious about it. You're just kind of building up a little background. And you can use any stamps you want. You might have favourite ones in your stash that you want to use. It will work with anything. But equally, if you don't like stamping, pattern papers will work great too. Or maybe pattern papers with some stamping on as well. So I'm just going to use maybe first and second gen on this. You can go at different angles as well. There's no rules. I might shock myself and do one across the top like so. So I don't usually do that sort of thing. And then I'm going to put a bit down the middle, because at the end, this is going to be cut into strips. So you're only going to be seeing a portion of each one. So that's that one. And then I've got a lovely little word medley. This has got, I'm going to have to put it at an angle. This says amazing, loving, beautiful, gorgeous. And I'm going to do this with black. And I'm just going to start and stamp in portions. Again, You can do first and second, but actually what I'm going to do on this one is keep them as full. And I never stamp up like this usually, unless I'm just like so. Maybe put another little bit down there. That's fine. And then we've got this look. Oh, I love these lines. Let's get a longer block. Let's do it properly. Got these lovely wiggly lines. And I'm going to have a bit of lineage there. And I'm going to come up there. And I'm going to put a longer bit, like so. I'm going to come in across here. Try and make sure that you get something in the middle, because again, when it's all chopped up, you might have some empty bits. Then I'm going to flick through. I'm going to get these double circles from the All About the Boys, and we're going to just start stamping in a few circles. And then on the All About the Girls, we've got a lovely trio. These ones are going to be green. Peacock feathers. You can do second generations as well. I just love the way that these come together. Looking good. Now, I think it needs a little bit more black in it. So on this set also, we've got that beautiful fern definition. We can have a few more words. So just have a little look and think, there's a space there and maybe one there. And also we have got this lovely little splatty dotty kind of, so you can go in and put some of them on. When you're doing a background like this, the more you think about it, the harder it is. So just kind of go for it. Don't hold back. You might want to think, oh, do you know what? I'm going to use this little fern. And I'm going to stamp it in green. You'll have to excuse my blocks. They're well loved. I might want a little bit of a fern coming down from the top. And maybe a little one there. Because again, it's going to be chopped up. Okay. I could go on, but I'm going to stop there. Oop. I'm just going to put the lid on there so I don't get it everywhere. I'm also going to replace the inks lids on there, apart from the black one, because I'm going to go in now and I'm going to ink around the outside like so. Just get a tissue. Okay, so from there, I still need that. I'm going to get my guillotine. No, I'm not. I'm going to get my trimmer. And this is the top. So I'm going to start and I'm going to cut 2 centimetres off the top. So I'm using the 2 centimetres that's past the cut line. 2. And so that well, will I get confused? No, I'm going to make a pile next to me. Okay, so there's 1, 2, otherwise it'd be like a jigsaw puzzle. 3, 4, 5, Beautiful. Why does that look smaller? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. It is smaller. It'll be fine. We would get our drawers. Like so. And then you would just come in and stick on the front. Make it so that you can see the panel on the front of each one. Do you know what? Would help if I got it the right way up, wouldn't it? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I just don't know why that is a little bit smaller, but hey, I ain't going to stick it on, and I will rectify it after the video. But that is how to create. Get that beautiful. Let's just move that to the side, and I'll bring in the black one. That is how you can create that beautiful background. So whether you're going to make it in black card or white card, I'm going to move them to the side because I'm going to just show you another quick technique or another thing. Sorry about that. Right. So for this piece here, I do like to cut a frame. Now we know that measured, and this is where you've got to be precise with your measurements. If you want it to, if we bring the ruler back in, that measures 23.5 by 22.5. So we deduct 0.5 centimetre off. So if I cut a piece of card 23 by 22, let's do that first. Again, you're going to need to use your big card. by 22. Now you're going to have your trimmer, but before you do that, before you do, oh, it is that way. Just check. Yep, that's fine. Now we want to cut a border. So I know, and you know, that the width of this frame here is 2 centimetres. And we've already took a bit off, so we're going to cut our frame at 1.5 centimetres. And what that will do is that will just fit around our little aperture. So put the card on 1.5, set your tool to 1.5, and cut from 1.5 down to 20.5. Rotate your card and do exactly the same. This time you're coming down to 21.5. So 1.5 down to 21.5. Rotate. Put that on there. And just keep following it around. You're doing 1.5 centimetres in from each edge. And what you can do actually is if you cut the frame first, the bit that falls out the middle, you can cut down to size to do your struts across like what we've just done. You'll save a little bit of card then. So if I bring this in now, that fits around there, and that gives you that nice equal border around the outside. So that's exactly how, and then you would ink it up if you wanted to, or you'd do that out of patterned card, and that is how you would come to there. But looking at all the detail that you get in there. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and I can't wait to see your makes pop up on the wall. I'm going to do the next video now, which is going to be the storage one to go alongside this one. So see you soon.